Okay, so the board met had a special meeting for a conference with legal counsel regarding anticipated litigation pursuant to California Government Code Section 54956.9 D2, one potential case. No action was taken, and the special session is adjourned. Moving on to the regular session. Welcome to the Coastside County Water District regular meeting of the Board of Directors for August 9th, 2016. Roll call.
Yes. Director Coverdell?
Here.
Vice President Reynolds is absent. Director Feldman?
Here.
President Glassberg?
Here. And please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Did you give Director Michaels? I didn't hear you guess.
No.
Oh, sorry, did I miss you?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Throws me off when you're not present.
Yeah, I know, I should be. I can maybe get a word in edgewise.
This is the time for the board to hear any comments from the public on items that are not on the agenda. If you have a comment on an item that's on the agenda, please wait until we get to that item, and we'll want to hear what you have to say. So if there's any public comment on items not on the agenda, now's the time. Okay, hearing none, we move on to consent calendar. Are there any items from the consent calendar that directors would like to pull? Hearing none, is there a motion?
I move we can't hear from Vice President Reynolds, so do we need to leave that off until next month? No.
I don't think so. I looked at it.
I move we approve the consent calendar as presented.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, Joanne?
Yes. Director Coverdell?
Aye.
Director Feldman?
Yes.
Director Michelson?
Yes.
President Glassberg?
Aye. Were there any meetings attended or comments from directors?
Yeah, I did attend a BOSCA meeting, and it doesn't look like we have reservoir storage levels in the consent this
It
month.
didn't come in time.
Yeah, so before we go too gloom and doomy, we are at 98% of normal, so that we are optimistic, and we're not getting state-mandated calls for reductions, so things are good. And I know every month we seem to still beat the drums of no water, no rain. It's not quite as dire as it appears. SFPUC is still very, very optimistic at 98% Hetchy. There's still water was flowing in, water flowing over the dam, first time in 4 years. So things are actually looking good. And SF Gate had an interesting, they took a report up to Mountain Tunnel. So now we've heard about Mountain Tunnel through BOSCA. We've discussed it here a little bit, and now the public is reading about it in SF Gate. So it's I believe today, so it's readily available on the internet. So they are being very public about it. Yeah, and that's my report.
Great, thank you. Any other reports from directors? Okay, let's move on to general business. And the first item is approval of a water services agreement at 456 Grand Boulevard in Half Moon Bay.
Okay, so this is approval for a non-complex pipeline. It's 60 feet on Graham Boulevard to serve domestic service and fire service. So,
Mr. President, I move we approve the water service agreement for 456 Grand Avenue.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes. Director Coverdell?
Aye.
Director Feldman?
Yes.
Director Michelson?
Yes.
President Glassberg?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is Pillarcitos Canyon Roads Repair Project.
okay. So this is to authorize the general manager to provide payment to the San Mateo County Resource Conservation District of $76,718 for the construction of Pillarcitos Canyon Roads Repair Project. And Joe is going to tell us about it.
Yes, for quite a long time now, the roads going up to the Rantron test facilities on either side of Pillarcitos Canyons have been mismanaged. There's a lot of sediment that they produce, and that goes directly into Pillarcitos Creek. So according to the Palacitos Integrated Watershed Management Plan, which was in 2008, it was identified as a serious, a Tier 1 threat to the creek as far as sediment load. And so this was a high priority to get fixed. So the RCD has been working with us, since it's our property, and with Rantron, who uses these roads. Rantron is the test facility, to mitigate this issue. They've done a wonderful job as far as hurting us through this whole project. All the permits have been garnered. We've been working with Fish and Game and with the Army Corps of Engineers and with the Department of Water Resources to get all the permits. It's been done. We went out to we invited some contractors to do the construction on this road, to repair these roads so that they won't be contributing so much sediment, as well as two high-priority sections on our access road to our well field and to our bifurcation where at Crystal Springs and at Palacitos, our facilities. So we went out to bid. There were, 5 contractors came down for the bid walk, and 4 of them actually put in a bid. And so together, Rantron, us, and RCD, we went through the bids and we selected, the lowest bid was actually the best bid as far as ability to work with them and experience on this type of a project. So our portion of the construction on our part of the road, which are in danger, 2 sections that are in danger of collapsing into the creek, which would really impair our ability to operate, it comes to about $77,000. I'd like to just also say that in this whole process, with the permitting, all the administrative cost was split with Rantron. They took 2/3 and we paid 1/3, since their portion of the project, they had the lion's share of the issues.
So was that same formula applied to the construction?
No, the construction is specific to our areas.
I see, okay. Questions? Sir?
Yeah, was this identified in the CIP?
Yes.
It was?
Yes.
And what kind of money did we allocate for it?
I think this is probably about $10,000 more than what we
Right.
allocated.
Oh, so it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's reasonably close.
So I move we approve the Palacitos Canyon Roads Repair Project.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I just comment, I remember working on the Palacitos Integrated Watershed Management Plan. And it's really nice to see something getting done.
Yeah.
So I wanted to commend
Great.
Alex on getting something through the pipeline here and actually working off some of these tasks on the list.
Yeah, I'd like to echo that too. RCD has always been a great partner
Yeah, no,
with CCWD.
that was good to
so
see this, yeah.
Thank you.
And Patrick, did legal counsel review the documents, the contracts, those kinds of things?
I mean, so I've looked at some of the historical documents and certainly all the permits. Clearly, a lot of work has
Yeah,
gone
right.
into this project over the last 5-6 years. As far as the construction contract, the district, I did look at portions of that, and the district does have indemnity protection. The district is an additional insured, so you would have the kind of typical protections that you would have in a general construction contract, even though the contract's being led by RCD.
Right. It's unusual that you aren't doing all that work, so I just was a little concerned to be sure that we are covered for any liability and those kinds of things. That's
We
great.
would have gotten around to it sooner or later, but it just piggybacked on what was going on already, so.
Great.
And believe me, this is much cheaper for us than it
Yeah.
would be to garner, for ourselves to alone try to garner these permits. We'd still be garnering.
Great. Thank you for your support of this project, too. I understand you guys have all done a yeoman's job of over years, and getting permits is,
Yeah, this permit list is unbelievable.
yeah, it's amazing. Okay. Roll call.
Yes. Director Coverdell?
Aye.
Director Feldman?
Yes,
Director Michelson?
Yes.
President Glassberg?
Aye.
Thank you.
That was painless, huh?
Oh, you can hang out, it really gets more interesting as time.
Okay, the next item is, this is an exciting one to see, award of the contract for Denniston Treated Water Pump Station and Transmission Main Project.
Yeah, I'll let Joe do this one
Joe?
too.
Sounds like a Joe item.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, Denniston. You know, Denniston's running today. It's August, and I believe this is a record. We're still running, and we'll probably be running for another week or two, as long as the water is still there. The limiting factor in running Denniston is we can't go up in rate because we don't have an adequate pump station to do that. And the transmission mains that are existent in Clipper Ridge are undersized, and they're cast iron. So we have found by trial and error, and when I say trial and error, I really mean that, because it's been a trial for some of the errors that we've made. And the error was trying to pump too much water. The pipes can't withstand the pressures. If we go over 450 gallons per minute, we run the danger of those cast iron pipes bursting, as I have reported in the past on Bridgeport itself, and on a few of those other little cul-de-sacs out there. So we retained Kennedy Jenks to give us a nice design for the pump station and the transmission main. They did a great job. We went out to bid. We got 2 bids for it, and Stolowski and Gonzalez was the low bid at $1.8 million. Which was good, because we allotted $2.6 million for this project in the CIP.
Yeah.
So this came in under bid, and you know, Stolowski's local, so they probably have lesser overhead costs, et cetera. The portion of this project going down Bridgeport is going to be difficult due to there's a lot of underground services there, PG&E and communications, sewer, et cetera. So we're coming before you to ask that you authorize the GM to execute the contract.
Before we have a motion and discussion, Patrick, I have just a question on the recommended motion where it authorizes the general manager. Should we add "or designee," or does that become a moot point, assuming we approve the purchasing policy update?
Yeah, I think you modified your policy last month to actually address your award of contract policy. You added "or designee" into that policy, which is you have a purchasing policy here, but you also had your formal award of contract policy that was approved, that was done last month. But you could say general manager or designee. You'd be perfectly appropriate to add that to the recommendation.
Any discussion on it?
couple of questions. Is this covered, is this part of the IBank
Yes.
loan funding? It
Yes,
didn't
it
say
is.
that. You usually say that.
Yeah.
Just said impact, but it didn't say it was an IBank participant, as we say. I think you probably spared us all the nitty-gritty details and pictures and stuff. Normally for this much money, it's nice to see a picture of the plan, the layout, and maybe some of the estimate information. It might have been 150 pages long for all I know, but I remember that these kinds of things used to be some detail buttressing. It's available, I assume, and you've seen it, and it's can be looked at,
yes.
and he's got it right there in his hands. This is good. And just so that, I mean, this would have been a lot to stick in the book, I understand. I appreciate it.
It's basically $500,000 a quarter inch,
I was gonna say,
just to let you know that.
so this has been well conceived. It's a low bid, but it does the job.
Oh, yes, yes, indeed.
And covers the territory, and the rates per hour for all the folks. Is this all in some?
Yeah, it's in,
Oh, it does.
rates per hour already here.
It's all in here.
Next slide.
Yeah, and maybe this was presented at previous meetings when I wasn't on the.
Well, the actual design was presented here.
Oh, okay, so I didn't, that's why I'm behind the 8 line.
You're right on.
Okay.
I would just like to see the alignment, really.
Yeah, the alignment, anything that would have shown how
That
it,
level of detail,
how
just the
it, yeah,
alignment.
how it went. Here it is.
Yeah.
Right there.
But we could get that to you, to the
Yeah,
board.
the alignment of the thing, where it's going and how it fits into the general milieu of our,
Right. It's going
of our
pretty much
system,
down the
basically.
center
That would
of
be good.
Bridgeport
Yeah,
and up Coral Reef.
Especially, yeah, when it impacts people getting in and out of their driveway.
Yeah, see?
They
All
corner
the- all
us
the
at
houses
the
in here.
grocery store.
no, it's okay, see, I got all the, it's all here. I believe you. Okay, thanks. I don't need this personally.
I'd like to move we approve the contract, and I'd like to just simply add that Stolasky and Gonzalez has been doing really amazing work for us, and so I'm enthusiastic to see that they're going to get this contract. So I move we approve it.
Okay, we have a motion, is there a
Yeah,
second?
I'll second that, because I want to see more water
From Dennis.
coming out of Denison, and we can get beyond that impediment that we currently have.
Yeah, sounds great. And the fact that it's $500,000 under budget.
Well, no,
Yeah, it's-
that,
Well, wait
that
until you get to
includes,
management.
no, the management's the
Yeah.
next one.
But even taking that
The
into
guys with the
account-
clipboards
Yeah,
who make the real money.
Even taking that into account,
Yeah,
it's still,
yeah,
We're gonna
roughly
spend a
more
little
like
more.
400,000 under budget.
there you go. We'll take it.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Joanne?
Director Coverdale?
Aye.
Director Feldman?
Yes,
Director Michelson?
Yes.
President Glassford?
Aye.
Thank you.
And we move on to the next item, which is the award of contract for engineering services for this project that we just approved.
Yes, it is a complex project, in that there will more than likely be many RFIs, there's a ton of submittals that will have to be reviewed, and a project such as this is beyond the capability of the staff here at the Water District. So we'd like to retain Kennedy Jenks for construction management and engineering services during the course of this project. And so we would ask you to authorize the general manager to execute a professional services agreement with Kennedy Jenks for $292,780.
I have a feeling there's discussion.
Will this be a not-to-exceed contract?
That's what it says. Good to hear it from them.
Good. Yeah, that's great. I'm enthusiastic. I would like to move we approve the general manager to authorize the contract. You can still talk after.
I have a
this.
technical question.
Oh.
Okay.
So I'd like to move that we approve the contract with Kennedy Jenks.
Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second it, but
Okay, discussion,
Um,
Bob.
Exhibit B, notes, last note on the bottom. According to this, we should be about 3/4 of the way through the construction of this guy. It says contract duration, April through October 2016.
Good catch.
Is that correct?
That is not correct.
Okay, I thought it
saw
should
that
be
this morning.
September 2016 through April 2017.
That's correct.
Does that make, that's better, huh?
Yeah.
So I think it should be modified pretty quick, or we'll be back on your case about performance.
If I may, in all fairness, I think that there were a number of people taking vacation last week from Kennedy Jenks. And so
Yes, and this
was-
week, yes.
and so they had some fill-ins, so.
Okay, that was my question. Thank you.
Any other discussion? I guess we're ready for a roll call.
Yes, Director Coverdale?
Aye.
Director Feldman?
Yes,
Director Michelson?
yes.
President Glassford?
Yes. And the last item for general business is the purchasing policy update.
Yes. So with this one, we want to approve, we want you to approve the update to the purchasing policy. And as we're reviewing the purchasing policy in conjunction with last month's review of the award of contracts, we found that I was missing, my position was missing from the purchasing policy. So this So this update basically inserts me into the purchasing policy to be an approver and a check signer.
So all of the checks that have been written in the last year are no good? They're all going to bounce?
Well,
Okay. Any discussion or concerns?
I'd have to really think about that.
It's a weighty decision.
I'd like to move
I mean, it's
that
been
we
reviewed
approve
by-
the purchasing policy
Moved by legal,
update,
right?
adding the position of Assistant General Manager. And, I mean, Mary, I hope you understand that. I understand it's you right now, but it may not be always. Yeah. As an authorized approver.
Does it mean? Okay. Is there a second?
I second
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Director Coverdell?
Of course.
Director Feldman?
it. Yes.
Director Michelson?
Yes.
President Glassberg?
Yes. And now we have the Assistant General Manager's report.
will be short. You probably expected to see an Aclara contract based on our last meeting, but we are still in the process of reviewing the contract with legal and also working through a few issues with Aclara. But we are moving forward. We're doing a lot of research and trying to hone the costs, and so next month you should see that contract on the agenda.
And did I hear correctly that we got a even better than expected price on the meter parts of
Yeah,
this
we're getting,
project?
yep, good prices on meters and lids, less than what we thought, so we're putting all the logistics together, and we'll have something to discuss next time.
Good. Okay. Any questions for Mary? All right, Joe.
Just a point of order. Thinking about my comment about the single page for that thing. This is a public document that goes up online, et cetera, and when I think people see this, it might be useful. For example, if we have a contract of that magnitude, to show a little detail behind that paper, in case anybody who's reading it, the public, wants to get a flavor for what is it that we're actually doing with the 1.846 million. So even an alignment picture, perhaps some of the locations involved, as Chris said, would help those who aren't as up to speed as we are, or have the opportunity to actually see this stuff. So a summary level, management level something behind something of that magnitude, to me, would not be unreasonable for us to publish in our documentation for those who do go online and do actually review the documentation. And there's a long list of people who we send the note to each week, about the meeting. So I to carry it a little further, because it seems it deserves a little overview at some level for people to understand it.
Right, and in light of the impact that it's going to have on the people in the neighborhood, I think that is a good idea, and I don't see why we couldn't put part of this document up on the website.
Okay, thank you. I mean, that was just,
Good suggestion.
there's a lot of people are going to be involved, affected by this thing. Thank you.
Okay. And Joe, anything you wanted to?
Okay, my report is here. The two highlights in my interpretation is the unidirectional flushing program for 2016 is complete. We were able to thoroughly flush all of the El Granada area and Princeton with a minimum of impact. On the first day of flushing, we had a little issue because we had forgotten they were supposed to shut a valve to Half Moon Bay. And so we were getting some water, some of the dirtier pipes were coming in. And so we had a handful of brown water complaints. There were some typical low pressure complaints during the flush, but that stopped as soon as we were done flushing. So we were very pleased with it. The crew did a good job. This year we purchased some signs, main flushing today, to cut back on any questions that people may have when they see water rushing down the street. So next year, we will continue moving south and do the area between, we'll do Miramar, between Miramar and Half Moon Bay. We'll do all of those neighborhoods in 2017. The other big issue is the Avenue Cabrillo project. This is the last phase of this project that started in 2012 with the antiquated pipelines in the southern portion of El Granada, around Malaga and Santiago. That whole neighborhood there had very brittle pipes. As a matter of fact, on one short block, I think I counted 10 breaks. It was pretty much a pipe made up of clamps. So this will be a thing of the past once this final phase is done. It should be done in September. And if there's any other questions on any other portion of my report, I'd be glad to answer them, or at least try.
I have a question for Joe, but not on the report. So I get a newsletter about water, Aquafonia. I don't know, you probably read it too. But reading it today was kind of interesting because they said that in many of the areas north of here, the fire retardant that's being used in the forest fires is showing up in the drinking water supply. And so my question for you is, do you know anything about the chemistry of that material, or if it were used in our area and it went through water treatment, would we be able to remove that from the drinking water?
There's no method.
I'm not sure.
Actually, I read a similar article. I don't believe there is a method to remove it right now, is what I read today.
Yeah. So I would really appreciate it. I don't know.
I could look
If you
into
could
that
look into it, I'd really be
and
interested.
put it in
because-
next month's report.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-blowing because if you watch the news, the amount of spraying that's going on right now, there's so many fires in California. So it's just, I guess, of interest. I mean, typically we'd use water, but I guess in a drought.
Yeah,
we're using this
I'm
chemistry.
not exactly sure what the chemical makeup of the fire retardant is, but I would surmise that it's some sort of surfactant that would not tend to be that soluble in water, and would tend to float in the upper reaches of a reservoir. And I would think that it would be reasonably biodegradable. But I'll come up with something for the next meeting.
Yeah, thanks. I just was curious, and I'm not trying to raise a scare or something, but just reading it, I thought, wow, that's unbelievable. I mean, I guess it would be important to know the chemistry and, help manage that situation going forward, right?
Yeah, we're fortunate in that our watershed, SFPUC's watershed is extremely protected.
Yeah.
And there's nobody's really allowed to go in there without to say it can't happen.
Yeah. Thanks. So I'd appreciate it.
You bet.
I know I can't direct him, so.
Fair enough. Joe, could you share a little more information about this watershed sanitary survey?
Yes, this is required every 5 years by the Water Board. And it's basically an assessment of human activity in the watershed. Now, for Pilocitos watershed, that's done by San Francisco. So we're covered there. But for Denniston, we have to do that on our own. And the very first one was they probably spent a lot of time doing that. Because, you do a survey, you do a plant survey, you do activity surveys in the watershed. In this case, it would just be Denniston watershed, which, again, is now part of Golden Gate National Recreation Area, quite protected. There's not a lot of activity going on in there. I'm waiting right now for a letter from Golden Gate National Recreation Area that would designate any changes that have occurred, which there are none, but we need to have it official. I get a letter every 5 years from the farmer out there, Dave Lea. He sends me a letter basically telling me that, what changes he's made, if he's doing anything different with his farming operation. And other than that, this should not take much time, and it's going to be somewhat short, because it's just an addendum to the one that was done.
Did we get an estimate of Jim Steele's hours?
It's going to be like maybe a couple $1,000.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions for Joe? Kathleen, any questions for Kathleen, or did you have some comments that you wanted to make?
My report is completely informational, but I just wanted to point out that I did report our water savings achievements for the state mandate of 8% time period from June 2015 through June of 2016, where we achieved a 19% water savings, and we only needed to achieve an 8%. So our cumulative savings did far exceeded our goals. So in case we are seeing an uptick in sales, but again, the state looks at cumulative savings, not any 1 month. So that's good. And I included the fact sheet for the district, the new one for the new ordinance that we passed in 2016. And I just, did you want to mention the tour, the STEM tour?
No, that was, I think I did mention it in my report, that we did a tour for some high school kids.
Right. Girls in the STEM.
Of the Nunes Water Treatment Plant. In July, I just did a brief introduction, but Sean did the lion's share of the tour, and they sent us a little thank you note stating it was very, very nice and very informative. The girls were very, very thankful.
That's nice. Good job.
Kathleen, I had a question. What was it? What's the question? Oh, on the fact sheet, on the first paragraph, where it talks about meeting our voluntary 10% water savings goal. It wasn't clear to me as I mean, I know the answer to this because of being here, but I just as somebody who wouldn't be involved in water, wouldn't have been clear to me 10% from what? Like from the 2013 levels.
Yeah, actually, yeah, so basically, we've been using 2015 as the base year, so,
Right,
yeah.
right. So that was one thing I thought maybe would make it clear. And also, you mentioned that the changes in the ordinance, or the new ordinance that we passed last month, was published in the Half Moon Bay Review. One of the things that I thought was effective that you've done over when something big is happening is sending an email out to all the customers. And I'm wondering if that would be a good idea as well, because I personally, I look at the review, but I didn't pick it up.
Okay, sure.
And I would have read it in an email. Okay, any other directors, agenda items, or directors' comments for future meetings, or anything any director wants to add?
You hit a record. Good job.
Oh, look at that. Well, I felt pushed because of the closed session running long. Well, with that then, this meeting is adjourned.
Wow, Jesus.
And I'm so glad that